Thanks everyone for popping on thus far. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes, just right until about 8:20.
Good morning, everyone. It is 8:20, so I think we will go ahead and get started. Welcome to our session. I'm Christine Ham. I am an assistive technology specialist for Wake County Public Schools.
And I'm Monica Lorkowski. I am a speech language pathologist and assistive technology specialist with Wake County Public Schools as well. So these are, just the things we got to take care of at the beginning of every presentation. So we have our financial disclosures. Obviously, Christine and I both received a salary from Wake County Public Schools. I am a member of the American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association, and both Christine and I have no other financial relationships to disclose.
So let's talk about what we are going to cover today. As assistive technology specialists, Monica and I are really passionate about supporting kids' communication in the classroom setting. That is one of our major roles as HE specialists, is supporting teachers and speech therapists and the students, of course, with their communication systems. And so what we want to focus on today is how we can support those complex communicators, both in the classroom and the virtual environment. So we are going to focus on evidence-based strategies to support these learners who do use augmentative communication systems. And we're going to be talking about a range of systems today, from low-tech all the way up to high-tech dynamic display devices. We are going to focus on quick and practical takeaways, and we're also going to discuss a roadmap for how to implement these systems and supports within your daily routine. We are going to be providing you with several resources, including a tip sheet and some video supports as well.
So those resources that Christine is referring to, I just added the Google Drive folder with those resources in the chat. So feel free to access those there. If you're viewing this in a recorded session, you can go to our session description and open that up into Google Docs, and you should be able to see the link. So if you just preview the document, you might not see it, but if you open it up in Google, you will have the link with all of the resources that we're discussing today.
Great, thank you, Monica. So here are our goals for today. What we are hoping that you all will get out of our session is to gain knowledge in evidence-based strategies to support students with communication challenges, and that also you will create an implementation plan using those strategies so that when you leave today, you have a plan for going back and implementing some of the things that we're going to talk about. And Monica is going to get us started with our first evidence-based practice.
Okay, thanks, Christine. One thing I do want to mention just before I get into core language, if there's any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and just so that we can keep the pace with everything, we will try to address those all at the end of our presentation. So just so that you're aware, unless there's a tech issue, we'll absolutely address that as quickly as we can. But now on to core language. So core language is a small set of simple words in any language that is used frequently across contexts. So it's those high frequency words that come up about 80% of our language within a day. So core language, something that, or some words that are examples are like I, go, and in. So those types of words can pack a more powerful punch than words like car or flower. So it's really difficult, actually, if you try to do it, to communicate without using core, especially for some of those emerging or limited communicators. So core language is really the foundation, the cornerstone of AAC practice. And if you're not super familiar with AAC practice, I know some of you in here may be, but some of you may not. So just in case, AAC stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. And it is whenever you need either strategies or an additional support to facilitate communication. So let's check out the next one. Okay, so here is our department core board. So we kind of refer to and have a lot of our resources based around that. We've got, I've got that right behind me as well. And whenever we're, using a core board like this in a classroom, let's say we have a good amount of AAC users in a classroom, or students that can benefit from it. Really, a lot of them can anyway. But there's two different trains of thought whenever we're looking at the implementation of core. And we'll get into some more strategies that go along with that, but I kind of organize them in two fashions. One would be modeling several core words in a concentrated amount of time, meaning focusing at lunchtime on several different types of core words like eat and drink and turn and open and more, so on and so forth. So that would be the focus there. The other way that you could implement core language is through a strategy kind of called core word of the week, or core word of the day, or however you want to do it. That is where you take a single core word focus, like the word go, and you focus on only that single word in various contexts throughout the day. So let's say one week I would focus on go, and then the next week I would do go and in, and then the following week I would do like, go, and in, and then you continue to grow your use from there. There's the best strategy is the one that you can implement. So whatever you feel most comfortable as the language facilitator, then that is the practice to use. So definitely learning by examples is the best way that our kiddos are going to learn. So whatever you feel most comfortable with, definitely go with that. And we're going to go over a little bit later in the presentations just some tools to kind of help you get started in that process and how to continue to grow your practice. So we have a video here that is an introduction of kind of what core language is. Our department decided to create a YouTube channel, like I'm sure many of you have, to help get the message out, to provide further training and support through the use of videos. So we created a AAC tip series that is comprised of 10 different tips going over multiple different evidence-based strategies for using AAC in the classroom. You'll notice in some of my videos, I reference to home because these were also meant for a support for parents of knowing what to do with their kids who use, communication systems. So, just a little bit of extra support for them as well. But both of the, all of the strategies that we mentioned in these videos are functional for both a classroom and a home environment. So let's check out this video about core language.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Our video is not connecting. Let me exit this and go back in.
All right. There we go. Perfect. Thanks, Christine.
Today I'm here to share number 5 in our AAC Tips series, and that is to communicate in core. If you're wondering, what is core? Core vocabulary is a small set of words that we use in 70 to 90% of our day. Some of those words might be I, like, down, or more. Those are words that come up frequently throughout our days. Here's an example of the meaning of core in communication. If I were to say the word green, which is not necessarily a core word, that could mean I'm wearing a green shirt, I want my green cup, or my green socks are itching. But if I said want, that could give you an indication that I want something. Then if I said want green, then I would really know. I know they want that green cup. Or if I were to say like green, maybe I would think that they like my green shirt. Communicating using core vocabulary really gives you a big bang for your buck when understanding your communication partner.
So this is just a short, simple video that's easy to share with others, that gives them, kind of a brief introduction of that core language, and also kind of shows them, using a word want is going to provide more information to that communication partner than just saying the word green. So I don't know if you all, like, if the kids have ever said, car, and then you always ask them, what about the car? So the word car is not going to tell you a lot. But if you were to say want and then maybe point towards a car, then you know they want the car. So that's what that's trying to communicate. All right, so now we have some core word use in action. So this is one of our classrooms, and in the activity, they're using Tar Heel Shared Reader over, I think it's a Unique Learning System book, or one of the books that are within Tar Heel Shared Reader. But all of the students in this classroom have a communication system, whether it's a high-tech digitized system, medium tech, static display device that has some voice output, or some of them just have communication boards. So this can, apply to kids with a range of different systems, and needs. So let's just see an example of how they worked with this story and provided some modeling.
Some people give heart candy. Eliana, I like eat candy.
You like candy?
I
Like
to eat
candy.
sitting under. Like eat.
So she was able to go around and provide those models, or the IAs were able to provide those models and examples of those words like and eat on the kids' communication system. So, and I do want to just say, I literally, when I took this video, obviously this was pre-COVID last year, but whenever I took this video, I had just popped in just to check in and see how things were going, and they were already doing this. So they were not really even like expecting me, and they were just automatically doing it. So I was really excited. I'm like, oh, can I tape this? This is great. All right, so that pretty much takes us right into our next evidence-based practice, modeling. And that's just the practice of showing what you are verbally saying and then using it on the AAC system when speaking to those who are trying to learn an AAC system. So modeling can also be referred to as aided language stimulation or aided language input. I see those as kind of interchanged quite frequently. There's a couple little nuances, but overall, they have a lot of the same goals. So modeling really assists with receptive and expressive language, those early sentence forms, grammatical and morphological development. And of course, it's definitely an evidence-based practice. This is, a really big key part of AAC strategies and the use of AAC systems, which we're going to get into in a little bit here, going over our modeling video. So we have another modeling tip video here, just that kind of discusses what modeling is and kind of some examples of how you can do it.
Hey there, Wayne County Assistive Technology here to share with you AAC tip number 3, modeling. Out of any tips that we will go over during this AAC tip series, modeling would be the number 1 most important strategy that you could do with your AAC learner at home. So let's check out some different examples on how you can do that. With modeling, you can start small, then grow. Let's say I wanted to ask, what do you want to eat? I can say, what do you want to eat? I can grow, what do you want to eat? Or grow even further, what do you want to eat? Providing examples of your language on their communication system can be done anywhere at any time during all sorts of activities. The key component here is making sure that that communication system is available, whether it be the digital copy or paper-based. Let's check out some examples of how you can provide models during common daily routine activities. Time to take a bath. Let's turn on the water. Ooh, that feels hot. Let's turn that down. Okay, time to get in. Looks like you want some toys to play with. I have something to ask you.
What?
What
You want?
do you want
Watch.
to watch?
What you want to watch?
What do you want to watch? Okay, let's watch that. Ooh, I like this show. Wow! Look at that! I want to eat a snack too. Let's see. What do I want? I want to eat
Yogurt.
yogurt. You too?
I
Cool.
want to eat yogurt. That's cool.
Oh, Do you want
help
opening that? By building modeling into your daily routine, this can help your AAC learner become an effective communicator.
So a couple things. Oh, I was getting a little feedback there. Okay, now I think I'm good. So a couple things I wanted to point out in the video. One of them being, if you noticed with some of the models that I was providing, it wasn't necessarily like a word for word type of thing. Some of them, it was just, one word, one keyword in what I was saying. So that's going to get into our modeling strategies I'll go over in a little bit, but that's just, something to definitely keep in mind. And also in this video, I tried to show multitude of different systems because kids now, it's not a one system fits all type of solution. So there's going to be some kids where a paper-based system is going to be most effective for them. Some of them it's going to be a picture exchange system, and some of them it's going to be a high-tech communication device. So I tried to show that that these strategies that we're going over today, as well as some of the other resources that we're giving you, can be provided with all different kinds of communication systems. So now we're going to get into our modeling strategies. So this is probably something that is obvious to some of you. AAC devices and systems are not magic. So that input is needed extensively to gain that output. So one analogy that I always use when I'm first introducing a team to using an AAC device or system is look at AAC devices and systems like a foreign language. So if you were to drop me in France, I'm just not automatically going to be able to speak French. I have to hear a lot of people speaking French. I have to get a lot of those examples of other ways that they are communicating, and then I'll slowly start to be able to speak French. AAC is the same way. You're not going to just be able to put a system in front of a kid and then be able to immediately start producing, 1, 2, and 3 word phrases. They have to get a lot of those examples from us to be able to do that at a later point. So modeling one word ahead of what your AAC learner is exhibiting is just a good key thing to keep in the back of your head. Then that kind of gives them some room to grow, and they're still getting those models and examples, but it's not too far ahead of what they can do. So it just makes, those next steps more achievable. And I always do this, or I always recommend this too. Rome was not built in a day, because sometimes, implementing AAC systems can be overwhelming for not only the student, but everybody involved. So it can be a lot. So that's why, we're going to go over our roadmap today of how to take those baby steps to implementation, because you have to be comfortable with it just as much as they are. And keeping those resources at fingertips length. So I always recommend to my classrooms, take like these core boards, tape them on the desks in multiple different areas in your, kitchen, in your math center, in your circle time area, any of those extra centers, just have them there and available so that you don't have to, go around like, oh, wait, where's that board? And then, with your AAC users that have like a personal device or a specific one, that's one thing to kind of work into your roadmap, is work on how you're going to transfer that, from place to place. So, all right. So now we're going to see some modeling in action. So this is Amber. Amber in this video is a fairly new AAC user, and her teacher is providing some excellent modeling, as well as, feedback, acknowledging her communication attempts, but also expanding upon those too. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what Amber's going to show us.
Green what?
Holiday.
Holiday.
Christmas.
Christmas. Is this for Christmas?
It's on Christmas.
All right, hold on. Do you want this? You have to ask. If you want it, you say, I want.
Want.
What do you want?
Holiday. Christmas.
Yeah, you want to make a Christmas card? Okay, I want. Look, want.
Want.
And I know, but you have to make sure I understand. What do you want? You want art. Well, I can't make Christmas happen.
Green.
Okay, want green? Here's green. Okay. What else do you need? You need glue. You need glue.
Holiday. Christmas.
Yes. And we're making a card, so you need, we have to go to groups, art, you need
What?
some glue.
Glue.
Sure, here's some glue. Okay. Uh-oh, I don't know if that's good glue. Okay, now you can put your green pom-pom on. Well, now you can put the green pom-pom on, see? Do you want another pom-pom? Okay. Do you want to put red?
Red.
Okay, put red. Put it on some glue. There's some glue. Get on good. Okay. Do you want to put more? Put what?
Put.
Okay, put what?
Red.
You want more red? Okay, here's put red. Perfect. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. What else?
Red.
More red? More? Yeah. All right, I think I have to get better glue. Oh, look, it sticks. All right. Do you want to put more, or are we all done? Which one?
All done.
All done with your picture? It is beautiful. This is beautiful. Cute. It makes me happy. I like it. Are you ready to go?
Go.
Are you ready to go
No.
check schedule? She's ready to go.
All right, so there was a lot of great things in that video. One of them being kind of what we alluded to earlier. Amber had just wanted just the red pom-pom. So on her device, she just said red. And then the teacher provided that clarification in the expansion. Oh, do you want more red? And she modeled that for her to get that input. The teacher also provided those keywords. So at the end, whenever she was saying, that this is, beautiful, cute, that this makes me happy. She just modeled those keywords again to give her that input. So some great examples in use of some of those AAC strategies.
Okay, so we are now going to move on to our third evidence-based practice that we're going to talk about this morning. And this one is the importance of using multimodal communication with our students. So what is multimodal communication? What does that mean? So here's a great definition. Basically, it is all the different ways that we communicate. We use gestures, vocalizations, our facial expressions. Some people use sign language or letter boards or alphabet boards, photos. As adults, we sometimes use social media. And then, of course, there are some formal AAC systems that we include in this. Could be low tech, could be individual symbols or boards. Also, typing to communicate or writing. These are all ways that we communicate. And anyone who uses more than one is a multimodal communicator. So we are all multimodal communicators, and we need to respect that when we're working with our students. So here is another tip video, and this one is specifically about respecting multimodal communication.
We are almost at the end of our list with AAC tip number 9, and that is to respect multimodal communication. Multimodal communication is the way that we all can communicate. Sometimes this may not be in words. It might be in eye gaze, body language, gestures, or vocalizations. These can all be acceptable forms of communication in some situations. When our AAC learners are demonstrating these nonverbal messages and we understand it, we do not always need them to reproduce this on their communication system. This is actually the perfect opportunity for the communication partner to model what they think they're saying on the communication system. Let's check out an example. Uh-oh, you look mad. Oh no, your ball's in the water. Ooh, let me get that for you. Do you need help with that? If your learner has not developed the independent use of some of these words, this is a perfect strategy for you to try. If your learner has developed some independent use of these words, the use of this strategy, along with some others, will help them to initiate using their communication device.
So as you can see, that video and those examples really show a combination of the three things we've been talking about. Using that core language, modeling it, and then doing it in multiple ways or multiple modes, and encouraging our students to communicate in those multiple ways. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so what we want to think about is, why is this important for our students? Why is it so important for us to respect their communication attempts? We really want to give our students every opportunity to communicate in whatever form is best for them. We don't want to, contain them or pigeonhole them into one form. We can use additional methods to expand their communication though. So if they verbally say more and we want to model on their device to expand that to want more or want more applesauce, we can encourage that, and we can encourage them to use multiple methods. But we don't want to force them to say it again. We don't want to say, now say it on your talker, or now you need to sign it and say it. If they've been able to get their point across to us, we're going to go with that. It's going to make it exhausting for everyone if we're asking for kids to repeat their communication. The photo that I've included here is my student Drew, and he is a 5th grade student in a regular education classroom. He is a verbal communicator, but due to his cerebral palsy diagnosis, he has a lot of breath support issues and of course fatigue. And so those really hinder his ability to produce intelligible speech that's loud and clear enough. So he is using a communication device as an additional communication tool. It is definitely not his first choice as his mode of communication. So we respect his efforts at verbal speech, and we then encourage and model for him to expand that on the device. So we have another video here of seeing this in action. This is my student Tristan. Tristan is a 2nd grader. He's also in a regular ed classroom. He's in 2nd grade. So Tristan's verbal speech can be difficult to understand. So he is currently doing a trial with a voice output device. He's just getting started with it. And in this video, he's working with his speech therapist one-on-one, and she's kind of introducing it and just getting him started with it. So we're encouraging him to use the device when needed, when others can't understand him, and also working on getting him to recognize that he needs that extra tool. He is also definitely a verbal communicator first, and he sees himself that way. So as you'll see, he talks to the SLP in the video, but has the device out on his desk, and she's going to model for him and encourage him to expand his utterances. The sound on this one is not as clear, but hopefully you will be able to hear it.
So Tristan, I have a book for us. Oh, let's see. We can push clear. Right there, clear. Oops. Would you like to read the book?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think this book might be about?
It's been a good city.
What do you think it's about?
I'm about the this way, this so cool.
Yeah, this says a Yeti right here, and it's about a Yeti and spaghetti.
I did.
Yeah, it's called Spaghetti with the Yeti. What do you think of spaghetti?
Yeti.
Yeah, what do you think of spaghetti? I like
spaghetti.
I like spaghetti. What about you?
I think pizza.
Yeah, I know you like pizza, but I'm asking you about spaghetti.
What's the thing?
Yeah, do you like it?
No.
No? Then you would say, I don't like spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, you don't like spaghetti. Do you know who likes spaghetti?
Yeti.
Yes, Yeti. The Yeti likes spaghetti. Spaghetti with the Yeti. Oh my goodness. Look at that room. What would mommy say if your room looked like that? What do you see in this room?
Spaghetti.
You see spaghetti?
Yes.
Like where?
Under hands.
On his hands?
Yes.
Oh, in that can?
Yes.
Oh, I think you're right. Yes, I do see that too. You know what I think your mommy would say if your room looked like this? She would say,
You.
You.
Clean.
You clean it. Is that what mommy would say? Yeah, she would say.
Clean. Cup.
Clean up. Because that is a big mess. All right, so let's read our story. A boy called George had an excellent plan to go and discover the Yeti. Put your pants back down. Feet on the floor. Thank you. He put on his backpack, a warm woolly hat, and a map, and a tin of spaghetti. You were right, Tristan. He did have spaghetti in his hand. Ready to turn the page? Okay, then you can tell me. You can say turn the page. There you go, or you just turn it.
19. Monster?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Monster? That has your
Monster.
good job. I love hearing that sound. Yeah, that I think you're right. I think it is a monster. You're right. It's a slow. So as you can see there, the speech therapist is really encouraging his multi-modes of communication. His verbal speech, she praises and encourages him to get that M sound out, and just really also encourages the device. And we're just trying to help Tristan understand that that is there to help him, and that he will be understood more by his peers and his teachers if he uses that in addition to his verbal speech. So the 3 tips or the 3 strategies that we have really focused on today are just a small part of all of what's out there. We have quite a few things to share with you in our shared folder. The first thing that you'll notice in there is a copy of the core communication board that Monica referred to and you saw in some of the videos. And that is the core board that we use here in our county for students in our extended content standard classrooms. And this has been adapted from a speech therapist on our team who previously used it in Guilford County. So in addition, we have some practices listed on our tips document. And so I'm going to go ahead and open this up for you all to see. Whoops, hold on. Okay, so here is our tips document, and you will have a copy of this in the folder as well. So this is the set of 10 tips that that Monica has put together in those videos. So in this document, there's a little description of each of the tips, and there's a QR code here as well that matches to the videos that we showed you some of today. We created this initially to go home with parents when schools first closed at the beginning of the COVID. So we talked about modeling here, which was tip number 3. We talked about communicating using core language, which was number 5. And we talked about respecting multimodal communication. But as you can see, this goes more into the 7 other practices that are best for using with our students. Now, I also want to show you our AT department YouTube page, which is, hold on. Okay, so this is our AT department page, and it's open for you to view. If you go to playlists, there is a set
of here they are, the tips for AAC, the 10 videos, the ones that you saw of Monica, and you can feel free to share those. There are also quite a few videos here explaining how to model and some examples of modeling with books and games and things like that. Also on our site, there are some how-to videos and some things that kind of cover the more high-tech pieces of AAC and some things related to devices and things like that. And then another great resource that we have to share is these modeling charts. So as Monica talked about with the modeling strategy, we can really focus on one word with our kids and then expanding to 2 words and then to longer phrases. So these charts, there are 15 of these here in this document, and they basically are broken down throughout the day. So for example, here's one specifically related to meals. And it just gives examples of the core language that you can model at the 1-word level, the 2-word level, and for longer phrases. And so there's one for independent work and morning meeting, etc. So these are really great kind of a visual support for you to share with staff in your classrooms. We have recommended that teachers post these on the wall in their classrooms, in the area where these activities take place, just to kind of remind everybody that this is what we're focusing on and here's those words that we want you to use. And really, we're expanding our kids' language and communication and just working up to longer phrases and utterances in whatever way they are able to do that. Okay, so those things are linked in the folder for you. So as we talked about, we want to share with you a roadmap for how you can start implementing this stuff. And I know we are running low on time, so let me show you this document. When you first open it, it is going to ask you to make a copy, and that is because you can go in and edit it and have it make it work for you in terms of what you want to implement in your classroom. So let me get this. Okay, so we have called this the roadmap to implementing evidence-based practices in AAC. We have it just broken down for you kind of by steps. And we gave an example for the first one, which was to focus on core vocabulary. So as you can see, we've got a little visual here for step 1, focusing on when you'll do it, who will do it, and how you'll do it. So for this example, we have when I want to start this coming week, the week of March 1st. And who's going to do it? Myself as the teacher and also the IAs in my classroom. And how am I going to do it? Breaking it down. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to print out that main core board and some other boards for the centers in my classroom. Then as an example, moving to step 2, what's next? I'm going to start focusing on using it during morning group first. And then we are going to plan which vocabulary we're going to focus on, which maybe 1-word and 2-word phrases. So that's just an example of how you can plan out what you're going to do for core vocabulary. On the sheet, we have it here for modeling or aided language, set up with the same format, and also for respecting multimodal communication. And then here we have a blank version for you so that you can go in and edit it and use this. And this might be something, again, to share with the staff in your classroom of here's our plan, here's what we're going to do, and hopefully kind of simplify things for you. All right, so we are just about at the end. Here's a slide of references that we have used as part of our presentation and some more information for you, several blog posts. So again, we have that shared resource link for you and with the documents we have discussed. Here is our contact information if you want to reach out to us in the future. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if we really have time for questions, if there are any questions.
I don't see any in the chat.
Okay, well, we are just right on time for finishing up then.
Perfect.
Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you all.